Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to your Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant to stimulate your thinking in the realms of sales or leadership. Today's show is the kickoff of 2022. And the show today, we want to talk about your goals if you're a sales guy or girl out there to make $1 million this year in 2022. When you're on a commission program, whether you're in real estate, whatever you're doing, we want to start off with a goal of making $1 million. And the reason is you back into the math and then you work the math. So we're going to kick off the show today for all my sales ninjas out there. And this year, we're really going to target in 2022 to make $1 million in income. So we're going to review the steps today, and then during the year, we're going to talk more about it, but we're going to review the steps to get you there. And by the way, these steps work, and my ninjas that listened to the show and or have done this can tell you they work. So first, we start with a CV list. And this is, I want you to take out your list. If you've been listening to the show, you've created one from the prior shows or prior times we've worked together. So I want you to take your CV list that you currently have, and that's your customer value list. And I want you to review every account on it. I teach my ninjas to put it in Excel. So I want you to stack it in reverse order for the clients that have the lowest 3 deep depth score. Now remember, on the CV list, it has their gross value, then it has 3 deep people indexes on there, 1 to 10. 1 being you don't know them, 10 they're probably at your holiday party. And that index is where you drive those 3 relationships to where they turn into a client. So you want to sort it by reverse order of the lowest index score you have, and then also sort it by the highest income value you have. So now you've got that. That's pretty easy. Now I want you to stare at the list and ask yourself, did I really work the accounts last year? I know the answer, by the way, because I work with my ninjas. The answer is no. And today we're talking about committing again. We really want to recommit. And this isn't a New Year's resolution. This is a year resolution to make $1 million. So we want to commit to moving this relationship index up. Remember, it's a relationship index, not a puke your product on them index. So the importance of them knowing about your product is less than almost anything. The most important thing is to build that relationship with them so that they trust and believe in you, and then they will buy your product. They always do. And again, on your CV list, you're not making a list. If you sell to car dealers, your list doesn't include printing shops. It's car dealers. Or if you're selling to a marketplace, a geographic, it includes that people in that geography. The bottom line is the list is people that could buy from you. So you don't need to worry about selling them. You need to worry about building the relationships because they will buy. It's not if, but when. So you want to make sure everything's up to date, and then take and print out that single 1-page CV tick list. That tick list is alphabetical. It's their CVs on 1 page, and that we still do manually. You're just going to hash mark by the contacts. Your goal this year is 100 touches per month, contact touches per month, and that means when you call on a client or physically go there, and I know with COVID we'll have to allow phone and stuff, you put a hash mark by the client. Every client counts as 1 tick if it has 1 tick mark. If it has 10 tick marks because you've seen and or talked to them 10 times, that still only counts as 1. This is why you stay focused on 100 different ones in the month. It's really not that difficult when you focus on the mathematics of following it. So make sure your list is accurate. When I did this past week, I was embarrassed how poorly I did myself last year in building relationships on my list. So 2022 is going to have my attention again. So you're going to be able to work alongside me as we both get energized again in 2022 to have that $1 million year. And then you want to look at next of how you build your special touches on your list. Again, your list will track special touches. As you build these relationships, do not forget these special touches because they're so powerful. My special touches are thank you notes. They're pretty standard. And they're handwritten, hand-stamped notes. Birthdays, sympathy, acknowledgement of something you see in the paper or one of the journals, anniversaries, any events that are special to them, you write them a handwritten note. Now, I was taken back the other day. A guy said, oh, yeah, I got it handled. I said, oh, show me your note cards. He says, well, I use an online service, and they mail them and write them and everything. It was one of these services where you put the stuff in it, and they have a machine that theoretically writes it, but you know it's not personalized. You can tell the envelope's not addressed by you, and it's not personalized. Take the time, especially when you look at your CV list and you know what their value is to them, and you look at how many hours you can work them. It's crazy, so don't shortcut it. Be dedicated. That's how you make $1 million, being dedicated to the process. And lastly, what I found recently, which has just been incredible for me, is send out special frame pictures of things. I've got a couple going out today, a bunch of them going out today, and here's an example. I'll just hide their faces, but it's going out in a frame, and it's matted, and it's a little 5x7 frame, and I put it on Have a Wonderful Year this year, and it's so powerful. I can tell you what energized me about it. I was at a client that I had met almost 40 years ago, and I was in his office, and when I was in his office, he had my framed things I had sent him over the journey I've worked with him on his wall in his big CEO's office. So I know that stuff works, and it just resonates and stays there with you. So I can tell you the pictures are just epic. So now you have the framework. You want to make sure and you're tracking your touches. You're doing your ticks and depth building of your CV list. Just get OCD about that. Be honest to yourself. And when you look in your mirror, you want to answer, are you a 1 to 10, your performance on the critical ninja activities, with 10 being the best. And when you look at it by each account and you see ones across and you know you haven't met them or you haven't started the process, get started. Don't worry about closing them today. Remember, in the ninja process, you budget 2 years on a CV list. And that's just being honest that you really work them. Sometimes you'll have somebody on your list for years, and when I sit down with my ninjas and go, tell me about this one because it's on your list, it's been on it for years, it's still ones, they go, well, I haven't called on them. But they're worth 50 grand to you. I know. Okay, what's the plan this year? Let's just go get banged up and call on them. So I can't wait for everyone's successes in 2022. We're going to be doing the show weekly again. I'm committed. Many of the same subjects I'm going to bang out again as in the past years to ensure your success. And remember, the key to success is about the fundamentals and making sure you follow them every day. Follow those fundamentals. Don't have to get fancy. Re-listen to some of the other podcasts, and you too can make $1 million this year. Again, thanks for tuning in every week, and remember to share if this helps you. And if you need some help on self-talk, just get my book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child. And if you ever have a question, feel free to email me at dean@deanakers.com, and I'll be glad to help you. So remember, this year, it's going to be $1 million or bust in income for you. Follow the process. Stay safe.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanakers.com. Also, visit us at www.deanakers.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.